Today we're designing on the iPad. We're going to be using PROCREATE for this, and how does it compare to the industry standard Illustrator and Photoshop, because I love both those programs. We'll be going over the full process start to finish, and I'll be sharing some tricks that help me learn PROCREATE in a short amount of time. Not to say I'm good at PROCREATE, I just feel like I understand it to a certain point. Chapter 1, let's get into it. I usually just go to Pinterest to find ideas when it comes to design projects. It's the best option out there. There's a lot of startups, but we all know they're quite, even the Adobe ones. So for this project, we'll be making a hoodie. For the hoodie itself, I'm going to take reference from Hooney, and also I'm going to take reference from Represent Cloak with their clipping hood adjustment, which I really like. So that's going to be the main focus for this project. It's time to get started. The artboard is 3,500 pixels by 3,000 pixels at a DPI of 300, which is usually the standard for my sketches and design projects. Now, I love sketching the iPad myself. You can opt for just tracing, but I like to torture myself, and plus I want to learn the program. So understanding how to do things the hard way will eventually help you in the long run, rather than just trying to do things quickly. But once we've got everything lined up, from our references to starting our sketches, we can start on chapter 2, which is mainly the line work. Now, this is where I ran into my first problem. Where the heck do I find the symmetry tool, and why doesn't it work already on all the pages? This is one of the most mind-boggling tools on earth regarding design. So I'm going to show you guys how to find the symmetry tool before you break your iPad, because I was so close to breaking my iPad. For this, I'm going to get up the settings so I know exactly what I'm doing. First, you want to turn on the drawing guide, then you want to click the drawing guide settings, then you want to go into the symmetry tool. Once you're in there, click done once you're happy with your symmetry placement, because you can adjust where you want to put it. And if you want that guide to apply to the rest of the pages, you're going to have to click the page you want to apply the guide to, and then you're going to have to click drawing assist on that page. Once you've done that, the symmetry will now apply for that page. That is the most mind-boggling thing on earth, considering in Photoshop there's a little butterfly tool that you click and it automatically allows you to use symmetry. After that, I just went to town and started inking everything. If you hold down your actual Apple pencils while drawing a line, it will start straightening up the line for you. It's a nice little feature to have. It's not that accurate. I guess you could attest it to using the curve pen tool in Illustrator, how annoying that thing is. It's sort of the same as that. But considering we've spent most of the time sketching and prepping our designs, inking it on a new layer isn't that hard. It's just spending the time rubbing out things and making it look as complete as possible, because at this point you're almost 60% complete. Now, I decided to make some pants for this because why not, and I was comfortable with the program at this point, and I wanted to test my skills because it took me a long time to get the hoodie complete. But how effective could I do it now that I understand how to use some of the tools? It took literally about 5 minutes to do the pants sketch and then start inking it, compared to around 30 minutes to just grab some features for the hoodie, which is absolutely crazy. But it just comes to test that if you focus on a program long enough, you'll get really comfortable in it. That's why I'm so proficient in Illustrator and Photoshop. One point that I realized is that you have to be good at drawing when using PROCREATE. Unlike Illustrator, where your hand jitter can be masked by the computerization of every single line, even when you're using this in PROCREATE, like the stabilization, you can still sense a notice of hand movement. Whereas if you're doing it on Illustrator, it's completely removed. It's like the computer did it, which could be a good thing and a bad thing. You can make your technicals more personalized, but then again, your manufacturer doesn't really care how pretty your drawings look. They just need to look very clean. Chapter 4, coloring. Now, I absolutely love coloring on Procreate. This is one of the best features regarding Procreate because you can literally drag in the actual color onto your garment lines if they're enclosed. And that is the sickest feature because it allows you to color, and it's really fun to color in Procreate. For this design, I went with a blue hoodie. One thing that I would not recommend while coloring in Procreate is only leaving one layer. Make sure you duplicate all your finished line works before you start coloring. This is super important because it's like Photoshop when it comes to adjusting to the fill and its sensitivity. If you already have a color there and you try to put another color on top, it's not going to fill it completely, making it look flush because it tries to enclose it on top of that color, which is super annoying. This is also a primary reason why I don't build technicals in Photoshop. It does the exact same thing, but this problem is not an issue if you're using Illustrator, like literally at all. Chapter 5. At this point, you should have your design complete. All that's left is to add in a size chart, some sort of material breakdown, Pantone colors if you have them, but if you want to risk it, just send off the image how it is. Don't worry about putting Pantones on. Add in your logo and have a logo. Add in your logo and have the logo file separate, especially when it comes to manufacturing, because they're gonna need the high-res version of your logo. Don't just send them a piece of paper with your design on a logo this small, because that makes zero sense. Now, what would I rate the design overall? I think I give it a solid 6. I don't really like the design at all, but it was really fun learning Procreate, and I feel like I'm comfortable in it now that I can just go out in the wild and start sketching full complete concepts, maybe bringing them into Illustrator and then finalizing and touching them up a bit more. But there is people who use Procreate like pros. One example I would say is Blue Boy. His Procreate skills are absolutely crazy, mainly because he learned all his technical and fashion skills in Procreate. And he's an artist first before an actual designer, I believe. He went to fine art school. I might be wrong, but Blue Boy is one of my favorite artists. For reference, if I were to make the same design in Illustrator, I could literally do it in around 20 minutes, complete start to finish. This literally took me about an hour to complete, and that's me becoming a beginner to almost intermediate. And yeah, Procreate is a very easy tool to learn, and it's very good for beginners. And it's very good for sketching. Would I recommend it for full technicals regarding like brands and things like that? No. I would recommend it for designs. You could do like those cactus plant flea market designs. I always say that because they're the easiest thing to do. You could, any drawing software, you can make those sort of designs. But all in, I hope you guys enjoy that video and that mini tutorial. What else do you guys want to see in Procreate? I love you. Peace.